What's up everyone? Ben here with the Spirit of Running, and today we're talking about the entire Nike Vomero line. This is going to be a new review format, so if you like the format, comment below and let me know. To begin with, let's compare specs for each style. You should be able to see them now. As with all my reviews, I provide the measurements that are listed on the brand website, so if you don't wear the sample size, your shoe may be heavier or lighter. As we move through the shoe, we're going to be looking at the build for each shoe individually and then breaking down how those similarities or differences feel in the real world. Starting with the Vomero 18 outsole, we have a traditional Nike waffle pattern around the perimeter with larger squares in the middle underneath the forefoot where a majority of the wear is expected. There's still ample rubber that will provide longevity and durability, as well as plenty of grip underfoot on a variety of surfaces. The midsole for the Vomero 18 is built with a combination of Zoom X, Nike's top-end ultra-responsive race foam, and React X foam, Nike's more traditional feeling foam found in shoes like the Pegasus. This combination provides a really nice amount of cushioning balanced with the more stable React X foam to provide a shoe with a lot of activity range. The engineered mesh upper has plenty of breathability and room while keeping the foot in place nicely. I haven't really noticed any issues with rubbing, and the toe box has generous spacing on my foot. For sizing, I recommend going true to size on the Vomero 18. Moving on to the Vomero Plus, this outsole is even more in line with that traditional Nike waffle pattern that we're all used to seeing. There's actually a little more rubber on the bottom of this version than on the 18. With that additional coverage, you'd be hard-pressed to find traction issues on many surfaces. Personally, I've stuck to the roads on this one for reasons that we'll talk about here in the midsole next. The midsole is a really thick stack of Zoom X, so it's very soft. There's no plate and the foam isn't combined with anything else. So for some, I think that this might feel a little less stable than the 18 since there's such a thick stack of race foam with no stabilizing element in there. That's why I've mostly stuck to the roads, because taking it on anywhere off-road just hasn't been worth the risk for me. As with the 18, we do have an engineered mesh upper that has plenty of room for a variety of foot shapes. I'm also going to recommend purchasing true to size on the Vomero Plus. Finally, breaking down the Vomero Premium, we have a waffle pattern outsole with excellent grip on every surface I've tried on so far, but again, that's mostly been road and crushed gravel paths. We do get a really nice view of the air zoom units through the bottom and the side of the midsole here. As with the Vomero Plus, the midsole is all Zoom X, but in the Premium we do have the dual air zoom units as well, which really provides a nice balance for me. What I find particularly interesting about this shoe is that while it feels like there is a high potential for the shoe to be unstable when you're just standing in place, once you start moving, I think that the shoe kind of levels out and stabilizes really nicely. The engineered mesh upper gives plenty of volume and comfort in a shoe that is designed to take you for as many miles as you want to go. The heel collar has plenty of cushion, as does the tongue, so you get a nice locked-in feel on the shoe without feeling any lace bite. I also recommend purchasing true to size on the Premium. It does have the most volume of any shoe in this Vomero line though, so I do think that while it runs true to size for me, and for most folks I've seen it on, I have seen some people consider a half size down. So which shoe is the best bet for you? I think a lot depends on how you want to use the shoe. Each shoe in the Vomero has its pros and cons. I think that in general, the best bang for your buck is the Vomero 18 because it's the most versatile shoe that you can find in the line. If you're looking for a general utility shoe that you can do a little bit of everything, the Vomero 18 has your back. It's the only shoe in the lineup that I really would feel comfortable recommending for the gym, as the other two I think lack the stability to provide a good base for any strength work. When I'm taking it on the road, it really does well as a daily trainer. With the balance of the Zoom X and React X foams, I think it can handle a variety of pace work for someone who wants to just grab one shoe and do everything in it. As you get past your tempo zones and into your threshold pacing, you're gonna have to work a lot harder for it in this shoe compared to other shoes in the line, or a plated shoe option like the Zoom Fly 6, Vapor, or Alpha Flies. I feel very comfortable recommending the Vomero for runners and walkers of any experience level who are looking for a workhorse shoe with a bit more cushion. The Vomero 18 is also going to provide a nice base to work from in the gym, and is I think a great daily shoe option for almost anyone. I also feel really comfortable moving around in the shoe, whether I'm heading for working shift or if I'm just taking the dogs out for a walk. The Vomero Plus definitely moves us into a more specialized air. I think that taking the shoe out on the road, it feels really nice running at a variety of paces. But to me, it lacks a stabilizing element. So again, with that Zoom X foam, it's all cushion, it's all energy without a plate and without any kind of air pod units in there. So it does really well on the run, but I do have to pay a little more attention to my footing when I'm transitioning to a walk break or doing any sort of activation movements before or even mid-run. I think that the threshold for this is going to be different for every individual, but when I'm taking it out for a run, it feels much better as long as I'm in the run stride. I can walk in it, but it's just those transitions into my walk and back into my run where I need to be more aware of what's going on. I also find that if I'm on a really canted sidewalk, I do feel that midsole start to crush towards the lower side of the sidewalk, creating a less than optimal feel for my gait if I'm focused on specific pacings or zones. So again, this is another reason why I think that it's great for the roads and it's great for running. You just want to be aware of it. I'm not going to recommend using the Vomero Plus in the gym. I think the Zoom X feels amazing when I'm running, but if you're trying to focus on lifting of any sort, I think it's just too unstable and I don't feel comfortable making that recommendation. If you're considering the shoe for daily living, I think that there's really high potential there, especially if you're standing all day. If you're doing a job that has really hard pivots in a non-linear fashion, just be aware and you know, test it out before you take it to work. Moving into the Vomero Premium, I really think this kind of splits the difference in some ways between the Vomero 18 and the Vomero Plus. And while there is way more cushion than any of the other shoes in the line and almost any other shoe on the market, here's why I say that. As I said before, I think that the Zoom X does need a stabilizing unit, whether we're talking about a carbon plate or in the case of the Premium, these Air Zoom units in the forefoot and the heel. To me, this is by far the softest shoe in the line and one of the softest shoes on the market at the moment. But I do feel like it works better for both runners and walkers than the Vomero Plus, which in my opinion is more of a pure runner shoe. As you may have seen here on YouTube, Connor Mance worked closely with the Nike team to develop the Vomero Premium, and he describes it as a zero gravity shoe, mimicking a lot of the benefits of a zero gravity treadmill. Now, if you've seen one of those treadmills, they basically kind of strap you in and then they you know, reduce the amount of weight that you're putting on your body as you run on that treadmill. So when he describes this as a zero gravity shoe, having that much cushion and that much protection between you and the ground, I think the goal is just to increase your efficacy to get higher mileage with lower impact on the body. The shoe doesn't make you feel any lighter, but it does feel like you're just bouncing across the surface more than just running. When I initially put the shoe on, I thought it would be relegated to like a recovery run realm, which seemed like a shame for such an expensive shoe, but I'm happy to say that it does really well at a variety of paces, though it does feel really good at a recovery pace as well. I am gonna give a short warning here and say that this shoe does best in a straight line. I think all runners are gonna have to make turns, and I'm not saying don't make any turns in the shoe, but this isn't the one where I'm gonna try and make a really sharp 90-degree turn on the rails in. When I'm in the shoe, I'm either gonna slow down on a hard turn, or I'm gonna try and take a nice kind of graceful turn at speed. I think the final sidebar note on the Premium is that there is a note on the back of the heel reminding everyone that this shoe is not approved for World Athletics. I honestly really hate they did this because I think that it's gonna cause some people to consider not purchasing the Premium even if they're interested in it. Over the years since we've seen these overstacked shoes come in, it's true this shoe should not be worn by an elite at a marathon or anyone really who thinks they have a shot at that top podium. However, for a majority of us, I haven't seen or read any evidence that they're coming after those in the mid to the back of the pack for wearing shoes that are over a certain stack height. The industry that continues to go after the stack height rule the hardest is Ironman. And I think it's just a shame, because I think that if you're not going after a podium, you should be able to wear whatever shoe that you want and whatever stack height, because in the end it just doesn't matter. Like, I'm not getting prize money, and I'm not going after any major sponsorships, you know, with my race results. So for those of us in the mid to the back of the pack, I would say don't let that rule keep you from grabbing the shoe. This would be a really fun shoe to run a marathon in, and I would definitely do it. I'm also not going to recommend this shoe for the gym, but I will say that working a shift in the premium is quite nice. Like, that anti-gravity benefit on the road also translates nicely onto the work floor if you're moving for long hours. Now that we've kind of broken down each different shoe and kind of talked about some of the pros and cons, how do you decide which shoe is best for you? I think starting with the price, the Vomero 18 is by far the best value in the lineup. The versatility of this shoe is both a runner and its benefit in the other areas of life, in the gym and in daily living, really make this dollar for dollar the best value. The 18 is also the most versatile shoe in the lineup, so if you're someone looking for one shoe to do everything, just to get that workhorse, this is the shoe that I'm recommending for you. If you're a runner who has quite a few shoes in the rotation and is looking for something for that solid, like, long run tempo option, look at the Vomero Plus. I think that shoe really likes to put in the work. I think you can pick up the pace in the shoe, and it really does quite nicely. Though if you're gonna go out for your top end interval pacing, I think you're gonna want something with a little more pop. But again, since this shoe is going to be for somebody who's looking to have multiple shoes in the rotation, you've probably got a plated shoe for that anyway. The Vomero premium price point may take it out of the running for some people, but I really find this to be incredibly versatile as well, and even more so than the Plus. While it runs easy incredibly well, and I think is a great shoe for walkers, it can also do the work and keep you moving on the long run and even into your tempo sessions. I think Connor Mentz commented on a post that, like, yeah, I mean, he ran 5:15s in it for a long run. So, you know, if it can handle the 5:15s for Connor Mentz, it can handle my tempo session for sure. If I have the money and I'm able to choose between the Plus and the premium, I'm definitely going with the premium. Like many of the super shoes and the super trainers, I think that Nike produces this shoe in much smaller numbers. So I think the other factor that could affect your decision making is going to be whether the shoe is even available when you're looking to purchase the new shoe. My recommendation would be that if you're interested in the premium, find a way to set some stock alerts, some in-stock alerts at a few different shoe stores, so that you can make sure that you get a pair. I think no matter where you go with this line, and I think you got a great shoe, and I'm excited to see how this line of shoes progresses. The idea of the family of Vomero, this family of shoes, which creates kind of a Vomero ecosystem to choose from, really works nicely for me. It just makes sense to my brain, especially if you've got the budget to pair one of these shoes with a shoe like the Alphafly, Vaporfly, Zoom Fly 6, something that's got a plate in it, or something that is designed to be more interval and race day focused. That, you know, I think you can really cover down with one of the shoes in the Vomero line to kind of balance out those speed days, and then have something have a Vomero for your easy runs, your recovery runs, and your tempo sessions. If you like this format, go ahead and put a yes in the comment section, with or without an exclamation point. I'm all about the exclamation points. But any feedback on the video or questions for future videos can go in the comments as well. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on future content. Until next time, stay safe, keep moving forward, and I'll see you out there.